And good morning. My name is Paul Church from Clarity Craft here in the UK.
And my name is Louise Golding from Clarity Crafts in the UK as well.
You had to
Hi,
think
everybody.
about that.
I did. Clarity Crafts.
Welcome to another episode of Groovi Tuesday. I hope everybody's well. The lovely Jane Telford should be in the room with you this morning. So if you've got any questions, she's there to help. And we should get the all clear very soon, that the sound is nice and clear.
Brilliant.
So we've got the microphone on the right side for Louise this
right
morning.
side today.
There we go. And yeah, we've had a busy week since last week, haven't we?
We have, yeah, it's been very busy.
So yeah, lots of promotions going on here at Clarity Towers. So we're just going to give it a little bit of time just for some of our friends to come into the room. There we go. See, lovely Jane's in the room already.
Hi, Jane.
There we go. So yeah, lots of lovely Sherry's there as well. Lots of lovely familiar names in the room as well. I wonder whether we've got anybody new in the room today.
That'd be interesting to know if somebody's new.
Yeah, if we got some, maybe we've got some tuning in for the first time today. Say hello. We're nice and friendly. We don't bite.
There's a friendly bunch on the chat.
Well, we are indeed. So there's several ways. Sound is all good. Thank you, Jane. So there are several ways in which you can watch us. You can tune in live every Tuesday at 10 a.m. or you can watch afterwards. You can watch via the claritycrafts.com Facebook page. You can also watch by our YouTube page as well.
Yeah.
And all of the previous episodes are there for you to go back and catch up on as well.
There's a wide library of all sorts of different techniques and everything on all of the videos.
Yeah, absolutely. All the past issues of the Shacks, the Craft Alongs, Groovi Tuesdays. There's lots of tutorials on there as well. If you're looking to lose a couple of days, it's definitely worth investigating.
You could get lost, couldn't you, watching videos? I do on YouTube. I just think, oh, I'll just watch 20 minutes or so. And then 3 hours later, you're still looking, it's gone off onto something else. And you think, how did I get onto this video?
Exactly. So it's lovely to have the come. What's the weather like with everybody? It's sort of a bit overcast today here, isn't it?
Yeah. We had a lovely weekend though, didn't we? It was really lovely and sunny.
Yes.
The weather's like, no, that's your lot now for the week. Can't spoil you too much.
So, okay. Roslyn is watching from Taiwan, but usually in Sydney, Australia. Wow. So what time is it in Taiwan, I wonder? I'm rubbish at time
zones.
Yeah. No, I know the UK.
Afternoon, maybe?
Possibly early evening.
Late afternoon, early evening.
Wow, Taiwan. That's amazing. See, I think, Louise, that's the beauty of the internet nowadays, isn't it? That you can be anywhere in the world, as long as you have an internet connection, then you can tune in. And whether you happen to tune in live or whether you tune in afterwards, you've got that choice. And you can stop and start and go back and watch all the different bits and pieces.
Yeah, and you can take your Groovi stuff on with you on holiday as well. As long as you've got internet connection, you're live to go, aren't you?
There we go. So it's bright and cooler with Jill in Berkshire. Good morning, Jill. Is it cake making time yet, Jill? I think it's still too early, I think.
Oh, I like a cake.
There we go.
Oh, I have now caught up with my homework. Wow. Well done, Sue.
Absolutely. So, yes. So if you tuned in last week, you would have known that Louise set everybody a little bit of homework.
Then you heard the groans. Oh, no.
But did you do your homework, Louise?
I did, yeah. I did do a little bit of homework. I didn't do all of it because I thought I'd save some just to show the last little bits of white work to do. And then I thought we would then head into some grid work and the embossing plates with the little grid.
Super duper. So if you've been tuning in for the past, I think we're on episode, week 3 this is now, isn't it?
Week 3, yes.
Yeah. So we've been using a new collection of plates designed by the lovely Tina Cox. And the designs originated from some larger plates, which were Tina's swirls, floral swirls and corners.
Yeah, I love those plates.
Which were A4 square plates. And I think it was towards the end of last year, Barb and I were doing a TV show through Clarity Social TV. And there was some beautiful artwork from the design team. And there was a couple of pieces that Tina had created, and she'd used like the nested scallop squares, the nested scallop circles.
Yes.
But she'd just taken small elements from the larger plates to create these beautiful pieces of artwork. So Barb had this idea. She said, you know what? These would make beautiful all-in-one plates. So we kicked them off last month. There's more in the pipeline, that's all I can say. And they proved very, very popular. We launched them on Hobby Maker and we launched them here at the same time.
Very popular.
And we thought this was a perfect opportunity, since Louise is now in-house with us, that Louise would take us through one particular design through the Groovi Tuesday and show us how Tina has recreated that piece, from the tracing out, doing some picot cutting, some perforating, some embossing. And on this particular one that we're looking at, there's no colour on it at all.
No, there's everything else but colour.
So if we have a look at the plate, if we should go to the overhead and have a look on the plate. So if we have a look, this is the design traced out completely. So these are A5 square plates. There's 4 different plates in the collection, which are all available individually as well. Everyone's on holiday. We've got Kim's in Lanzarote.
I was just looking at that thinking, oh, Lanzarote, wow.
Very nice. So this is the all-in-one thank you plate from Tina. And this is the piece of artwork that, did you want to show that piece of artwork?
Yeah,
Lou?
Just from literally just a couple of elements on the Tina Swirls and Corners plate.
Yeah.
She's created this. It's lovely pattern building as well. You know, she's only just created I think there's 2 corners here really, just from one plate.
Yeah.
To create that piece of art. It's stunning, isn't it? The black and white looks lovely.
It really, really does. So that's the first plate in the collection. Then the second one is With Love. So you've got the flowers on there as well.
It's very pretty.
I love this. This is quite Japanesey.
It is.
I think.
Yeah, it's very Japanesey, which kind of coincides very well with this month, doesn't it?
It does indeed. All things Japan, Japan 10, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So that was the finished piece of artwork from Tina.
It's very pretty, isn't it? It's lovely, lovely colours, and just creating just a few more elements on there, and you can create that lovely bit of art. And the good thing about this plate is if you didn't want the flower blocking it, all you have to do is just turn the plate and you've got a lovely decorative circle.
Oh, of course, yeah. And you don't need to have the nested scallop squares or the nested circles, because that is all included on that brand new all-in-one plate. Then we have Very Best Wishes.
Yeah, this is lovely, isn't it? Simple, but really beautiful.
Yeah.
You could create lovely white work on that, and it would look lovely just with white work, but also some beautiful colour.
And because you've got that panel, obviously you can put anything in there, couldn't you?
Yeah, you don't have to put Very Best Wishes. You can put somebody's name or 70th birthday or...
Yeah. And then that's the piece of artwork where the design came from.
Yeah, it's lovely. And Tina's used the straight grid in here just to create a little bit of lace work as well.
Oh, yeah. Should I zoom in on that?
Oh, yeah, you can zoom in.
We've got the magic.
The magic
of the camera. There we go. So you can see.
There we go.
Yes.
That's beautiful, isn't it?
And that was the technique that Barb was talking about when we launched the Richelieu plate.
That lace, fine lace work.
Yeah. And where you're pushing the background into the background and you're making the foreground design more prominent.
Yeah, you pop it out more by just debossing something else.
Yeah. So that's rather lovely. And then the fourth one in the collection is this one here, which is For You.
Wonderful, yeah. Again, just a couple of corners she's using to create that piece of art. And I love these corners as well. I'd use them on a border or something. That would look lovely as a border around here.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Lots of picot cutting that out.
And you don't really notice it at first, but you've got a lovely little heart in there as well.
You have. And also with this heart is, if you just wanted a heart without this little bit, all you've got to do is just take, because the point of Groovi is you can trace what you like.
Yeah.
So if you didn't want these little bits in here, you can create just a simple heart.
And then this was the piece of artwork that Tina created. So you can see now how she's made those hearts more prominent.
She has, yeah. And some lovely little grid work in here as well. Yeah, it's really nice.
Beautiful.
It's like the 4 and 4, isn't it? And I think Tina's used the
That
fine.
looks like the
The fine
fine.
grid on that one, yes.
And we're going to look at the different types of grids during this hour, aren't we?
We are, yes, just to give everybody a sense between a bold and a fine grid and what you can create with it.
Right. Okay. So what we're going to do, we'll have a bit of a recap with what we did last week and then where we're heading this week.
Lovely.
So I'll take that card out of there because you're going to need that one.
Yes, I am.
We buried it right at the bottom. There
It's
we go.
beautiful. I'll have that. Okay. So this is where we ended up last week. I did just push forward a little bit. On this corner, I've just done a little bit of white work. This is the second stage, so it's still quite grey.
Yeah.
But I'm not pushing too hard on it. So it's just literally just 2 layers on there. We finished up all of for the homework. I think we all finished up all these little tendrils and the larger flowers.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else did, but I did the white work on these as well.
Oh, on the midnight blue.
Yeah, it looks really lovely, doesn't it, against the midnight blue?
It does.
Pops out quite a lot. So because we've done the flowers on the main bit of art, I also went ahead and did that. So exactly the same as you would with your other little flowers, just do the 4 corners there.
Okay.
So I thought maybe I just do these little flowers here.
Yeah.
Just do a little bit more white work and then we can go on to some grid work.
Okay, perfect.
So I'm just turning the mat onto the soft side now for our white work and turning my artwork over. So let me show you.
So if I zoom in a little bit closer, would that help, Lou?
Oh yes, that'd be lovely, thank you.
There we go.
Oh, there we go, that's lovely. So I have here the 4.5.
That's the Pergamano tool.
Yeah, the ballpoint tool.
Yeah.
And I thought I would just give everybody a little show and tell on the shader tool. I think this is the smallest one, the 0.8.
Oh, the new one that we
The new one,
brought back.
yes. I find it very, very good for these little petals here.
Right, okay.
Because the good thing about a shader tool is the width. It's more width than the ballpoint. The ball tool. The ball tool, yes, that's the one.
Okay.
So I think when I do my, which we'll talk a bit later, the 1, 2, 3 course.
Yes.
When we get onto the white work course, I'll probably, with the shadow embossing, I'll probably be using the shaders and the ball tools.
Right, okay.
Just because the shaders, I find, because they've got a bigger width to them, you can create seamless petals easier for people. So we'll use a combination of both because both are really good.
And that'll be later in the year. So we'll have we'll talk a little bit more about the 1, 2, 3 online courses during the course of this hour as well, because it's proving to be very, very popular. And if you're thinking, what's the 1, 2, 3 online course, then stay tuned and we'll explain more.
Okay, so
go on then. There we go.
The magic button.
Magic button.
I got control of the buttons. Okay, so let's use the 4.5 first. I'm just going to do these flowers here. I'm just going to bring in my Groovi guard. There we go. So we're just, again, like we did last week, we're just flicking. And I'm placing the ball tool.
Yeah.
Where the point of the ballpoint is, it's halfway. So it looks like you're going outside of the petal slightly, but you're not, because...
I wonder if we can come in on the side camera to see. Oh, yeah. Don't know if we can. No. Sort of.
Sort of. So it's just literally just on the outer part. And then we're just slowly flicking from... There we go. Just turn the work around. So again, we're just flicking, placing it on the outside of the the petal, bring it in. So you're going to have a lovely bit of white on the outside of the petal, but then as you go into the center, it's going to be more shaded.
Okay.
It's very therapeutic as well. So you kind of end up getting quite lost in parchment, I find.
And it's learning the right type of pressure, isn't it? It
is, yeah. So I find when you're using a ballpoint, I keep on wanting to say a ballpoint. It's a pen.
Pen.
A ball tool.
Yeah.
You, with white work, especially with your shadow embossing, you'll want to have, if you try with a pencil first to get that pressure, all you'll want to see is a very, very fine bit of colour.
Okay.
And it's the same with the ball tools. You'll only want to see it will look very slightly grey.
Right.
You don't want it white straight away, because then it's gonna be really curved like this. It'll be lumpy bumpy.
Lumpy bumpy, sort of like cotton wool type of.
Yes, and what you'll find is when you're doing your white work all over your piece, the piece will end up looking so lumpy bumpy instead of looking. I mean, obviously the flowers are going to pop more when you're embossing them, but when you go straight in really hard and start embossing really with a lot of pressure, it is going to, and it's all over the work. It's just going to look like.
So yeah, so this is one of the processes. I'm right in saying that with white work, patience is required on that, isn't it? And the more patient you are, then the better result that you'll get.
Exactly.
I learned that.
Yeah. And the good thing is the pink mat is there, I think, for impatient people as well.
Yeah.
It's a way of slowing you down. And also, if you do struggle with pressure and you find that you press a lot, you can use a little bit of cellophane.
Right.
Like I had a bit here. Just off your packaging.
From the Groovi plate.
From the Groovi plates, yeah. Just put that over your work, and that will, decrease the pressure a little bit as well.
Right. Okay. So you put that on the black mat and then your parchment on top, or do you put it on top of your parchment?
Depends. If you wanted to deboss something, I would put it on top.
Right.
If you wanted to just emboss underneath.
Okay.
Because what happened is if you wanted to deboss and you wanted to emboss on the front of the parchment, then what you're going to have is a shiny look.
Right. Okay.
So using that cellophane will stop the shininess if you're going to deboss on the front of your parchment.
Okay, but it also acts as an aid if you're new to your white work and you only have the black mat available to you.
Yes.
Okay. So should we go back on the overhead?
We shall. Bing. There we go. Getting too excited about pressing a button. So I'm just going into. Let me move that up a bit. Again, just little flicky motions. And I will probably do a couple of layers on this just to get that lovely bright white that Tina has on her flowers. But patience is needed.
But I also think, Lou, on the plate that we're working on now, and any of the plates in this collection, you've got these small areas which are great for practicing on, aren't they?
They are.
And learning that technique.
Yeah, so that takes me back to Linda's 1, 2, 3, her little circles with all the different flowers in, the small ones, then going up to the larger ones. That was great for practice. And these, again, because they're so small, it is a great way of getting the idea of the pressure that you're needed, rather than going straight into a larger piece.
Yeah.
It's
so it's not
like
as overwhelming, is it?
No, exactly. And it's like our Small Makes Facebook page.
Yes.
That was the idea of making things easier for people, more manageable.
Yeah.
And getting people back into crafting by just creating little pieces of art.
So can we have a look at that from the front to see how we've got on there?
Oh,
so,
yes.
Yep. on the front of the work, not the front of the camera.
There we go.
So which is the one that we've just done?
It's this one here.
Okay.
So then it looks quite grey at the moment, and that's just one layer. So I would say, Tina, with this card here, probably 2 or 3 layers, I'd say.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it looks very close, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I think
the
little fronds around the outside are more prominent, aren't they?
They are, yes. And the scrolls as well. They're quite bright white.
Yeah.
Quite bright white. But yeah, actually thinking about it, the flowers, they're not actually that.
They're quite subtle, aren't they?
They are quite subtle compared to maybe the tendrils and then the centers of the flowers. There's kind of different tones, isn't there?
Yes. Different levels of the brightness of the white work.
Yeah, so you might not actually have to do that many layers.
I think that looks rather lovely.
I'm just turning it onto the back again.
Okay.
So I thought just so everybody knows how to do the flowers.
Yeah.
So they can carry on at their own pace and enjoy it nice and slowly during the next week or so. I'll show you some leaves now.
Okay.
So on the front, as you might be able to see here, I have done already a layer here.
Right. So, yeah, we can see that.
Yeah. So I will just do on the back a second layer just to show you what 2 layers look like. So let me start with the leaves. There we go. So I'm just starting the ball tool from tip of the leaf here, and then I'll just turn it round and just flick it up and then to the side like that way, and then a bit like a V shape.
So you're following the contour of the leaf on this particular one?
Yes. Where are we? There we go. So again, just up towards the stem and then over to the middle of the leaf here.
Right, okay.
Which will then, if I show you on the front.
Oh, yes, you can definitely see the difference.
Big difference between that one and that one, isn't there?
Yeah.
So that's 2. Where are we? 2 and 1.
Okay.
1 layer and 2 layers. So back onto the back. So again, I will go on to just the little leaves. Again, they're quite simple. All I've done is literally just from the tip, I've just followed the curve round that way.
Yeah.
And followed the curve round that way. So like the leaf shape.
Right, that's really good to know, because when I sort of learned back in the day, I just went straight from the point inwards and then just so I didn't even think about it being a leaf. It was just
a little bit of
shape.
Something that you wanted to just create that little bit of white on the tip of the leaf.
Yes.
But then again, that's good with shadow embossing. I know Linda was speaking a lot about white work and how you follow with shadow embossing. You follow the curve of the petal or the leaf.
Yeah.
So so it's just about, we go around like that and then round like that.
Right, I see. Yeah, so rather than flicking
around like that.
Yeah.
And then round like that.
Rather than just straight from the tip and straight down.
Rather than just that.
See, that's what I used to do.
Yeah, it's easy to do when you're learning and everything. You just want everything to go white. But when you do it a little bit more and you learn a little bit more about shading and how the light touches flowers, and that would be good about the shadow embossing and everything. It's about when you colour something, you usually put the dark into the shading, but with white work it's completely different because you're highlighting it rather than shading it.
Of course, yeah.
So white work is just the opposite to colouring, really, because with colour you like to add the darkness.
Yeah.
Whereas
to create the dark, to create the
shadow. To create all the shadows, and so it looks 3D. But with white work, you're doing the same, but you're just highlighting it instead of the other way around.
Colouring it, yeah.
Yeah. So those are the leaves.
Okay.
I will. Thank you. I would just do some scrolls now, maybe.
So you're still doing all this current layer with your 4.5 Pergamano tool?
I am, yes. I might be able to get away with it on here, just some dark shading. That's the good thing about the ball tools, is even though it looks really wide, it isn't actually that wide when you use it with on your artwork, because it's literally just that.
It is the center of the ball, isn't it?
It's such a difference between what you think you're going to get versus what you get.
What you get. Yeah, no, that's a good thing to know, isn't it?
And that's the good thing about using the shaders, which I'll show you in a minute, is that they have a nice width to them, so you can create lovely shading on your petals.
Right.
With that.
So everything that Louise is talking about here and sort of explaining as she's working through this piece of artwork, last year Bob had this idea of 1, 2, 3 online courses, and where are we now? We are March. So at the beginning of March, we kicked off our very first 1, 2, 3 online course. And this is the Groovi Parchment Foundation course. And it's a series of online courses in a very special platform called The Circle. And so it's not on Facebook, it's not on YouTube. And it's sort of like another community. So by signing up to attend the 1, 2, 3 online course, there will be 3 different sessions, which we will talk about. 3 different sessions. Where's my paperwork gone? There it is. Live sessions on Wednesday the 2nd of April, Wednesday the 9th of April, and Wednesday the 16th of April. And they will run from 1 o'clock until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. But there will also be some pre-record sessions as well. So, and it's going to cover, it's 3 plates, 3 dates, and it really is that foundation to parchment craft. And each of the modules, so the first module will cover white work, just as Louise is sharing with us today. The second module, we will be looking at colour. And then finally, the third module will be picot cutting and perforating. Now, Louise is going to cover all of these over the course of the Groovi Tuesday, but to have that concentration for several hours on a specific technique allows us to expand and really sort of get into the areas.
Yeah, it's purely techniques and knowledge, isn't it?
It is. And it's that lovely environment where it's very similar to what we're experiencing here, where people can chat in the classroom.
Yes.
They can ask questions. There'll be a Q&A room where you can go in and ask questions with your fellow students, and Louise and myself, we will be in there. Then you can share your findings, you can get to know your fellow students. So the invites for those of you that have already enrolled to attend the course, they will be going out next week. So the classroom's still being built, so to speak.
It is. I'm hard at work, creating prep work.
So they're going to be, I think they're going to be really. So what happens is that when you sign up, we send you this lovely booklet. Okay, we'll have a look on the overhead, Lou. So if we've got this lovely booklet, whoops, we'll come back out now. So this is the new online 1, 2, 3 course, Groovi Pergamano. The item number is 60220. It's a foundation course. You've got your list of dates when the live shows will happen. But as I said, if you can't watch live, you can go back and watch afterwards. Then it takes you through an introduction there of the objective of the 3-part foundation. All of this information is on the website. Your essential equipment for all 3 modules, like your starter kit, that will be used again. Then it shows you the plates, and we launched a beautiful collection of plates. Louise will be focusing on 3 of those. tells you what you're going to use or what you'll need for those particular items. Then for the second week, you've then got your colour. We give you 6 pieces of A6 parchment. So when you come to practice your techniques, you've got that. So you haven't got to go into your own stash. Then we look at the picot cutting. Then we've put a whole list of ingredients that will be used over those 3 weeks. And a lot of these, many of you will already have, it's all in alphabetical order with the item code, like paper trimmer. Most of us have got a paper trimmer. Pencil sharpener. Most of us have got those. Ruler. Card blanks if you want to mount your card. So it just gives you sort of like a little tick list that you can go through. And then we've already set the scene for the rest of the year.
We have.
So we've got our white work 1, 2, 3 online course, which will be...
Yeah, so in these white work courses, we will be going through all of the different embossing tools. So the ball tools, the shaders and the hockey stick. We will be going over different types of white work. So right up to shadow embossing, that will probably be the last one. And using all of the different tools to create the shadow embossing that you see, like Linda doing, and whoever. Some of the design team do some lovely shadow embossing as well. So that will be all about white work and all of the techniques that you need to know.
Yeah.
Then you have the colour in September. So that will be going over all of the colouring we have. So the pergoliners, how to use the B pencils and the A pencils together.
Yeah.
The Dorso crayons and the perga colours.
Perfect.
Last one will probably be pencil work on the front.
Nice. That sort of painting effect.
Yeah. So Francis Knott style. That will probably be that we'll tackle that in the last one, I think. And then picot cutting. So that will be going over various tools and how to create the lovely, maybe a little bit of lace work and really getting to grips with your picot cutting.
Literally.
Yes. Yep. Hopefully, you will be a experienced picot cutter by the end of that.
That's right, and that's also going to be used in conjunction with various multi-needle tools and stuff like that.
So we will go into hopefully quite a lot of the different tools to create different edges around work.
Nice. So sort of like finishing tips and tricks. And
and how to put a couple together to create a really lovely border. So so that will be all 3 of those.
So that's really the whole year lined out.
It is.
And then obviously this was the collection of plates that we launched at the beginning of this month. So everything's still available on the website. You can go to claritycrafts.com and there's a little, when you get to the front of the website, we've got what we call our carousel of little banners that go around.
Yes.
There's one there. You can click straight on that when it appears. And you can go in there and you can see everything in there. Click into the product 60220 and right at the bottom of the explanation, there's a list that you can download. It's like an ingredients list that is included in there. Because, as I say, many of our friends at home will already have the core essentials. But what that does, it gives you time then, if you think, oh, maybe I want to give the pink mat a go, or I haven't got that particular tool, maybe I need to sort of get that. But that'll be on the 3rd week, and it doesn't matter if you haven't got, it's a course, isn't it? So it's not a craft along where you'll do exactly what Louise is doing. Louise is, because we know with white work, as Louise has explained this morning, you can't complete a finished piece of artwork with white work in 3 hours. It's that process. So this is that real foundation. Maybe you've been doing parching for a while now and you want to learn a little bit more about the white work. You want to get a little bit more grounding under your belt, so to speak.
Yes, there's a lot to learn. So, I mean, nobody knows everything about everything to do with parchment. It's a varied subject, and even new people come in and have a different way of doing things than other people, and you think, oh, well, that's a good way of doing it.
Yeah.
So you're always learning different ways to
try different things. Yeah,
things.
definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
So so that's definitely worth having a look at if maybe you're new to Groovi Tuesday or Groovi parchment craft itself. Then that may be something. Makes Mother's Day is coming up soon, so that would make a lovely. If children are thinking, what can we get Mum for Mother's Day?
That would be lovely, wouldn't it?
And you can go back and watch again and again and again. It's not after that 3-week period. That's it. You get kicked out of the classroom.
No, it's a present that keeps on giving.
It is indeed.
Perfect present for Mother's Day, isn't it?
So if you look at those dates, think, oh, I'm working all those Wednesdays, I can't do it. Doesn't matter. Once that live session has happened, the live session will be available in that classroom together with the pre-record as well. That you can go in, you can stop, start, pause, entirely up to you. And I know many of our friends at home have already signed up to that, and I can see some of the comments coming up. Lots of excitement in the room as well.
There is. And somebody has said, is anything that needs to be posted, or is it all downloadable?
So yeah, we will send you this booklet because it gives you your 6 pieces of parchment. And then at the end of the 123 online course, we will send you another booklet with inspiration from the design team, and sort of like a little certificate of completion. So it's sort of like, oh, I've done that, I can tick that box. I've done that, and then you think, yeah, I really enjoyed. Maybe out of the 3 different sessions, you think, I want to know more about. I'm okay with the white work. I'll stick with that, but I want to know more about colouring. So maybe you want to sign up to the colouring one later on in the year, or maybe you think, I want to learn more about the multi-needle tools. Then sign up for that one. So you haven't got to do the foundation course and then you do the others. If you're happy with the level you're at with that understanding now, that's fine. You can do any of the other courses independently as well.
You can, yeah.
So perfect. So I just thought I'd share that with everybody at home. So I'm going to pop that to one side. So where are we up to now, Louise?
So we have, let me show you on the front. Here we go. So we've done a few of the flowers.
Okay, should we zoom in a little?
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Oh, it is becoming a little bit more, that one.
Oh, there you go. Wahee. So we have done the scrolls.
Yeah.
And some of the leaves. So really that's all the white work which I've showed you how to do, all of the flowers, the scrolls, the leaves.
Yeah.
So I thought now, once we've done, obviously this will take a little while to do all of the white work.
Yeah.
I'll do this as homework as well.
Teacher setting herself homework.
Yes, I know. And I'll finish all of the white work for next week. But I thought I really wanted to show you the grids now.
In relation to the piece of artwork that Tina's done.
Yeah, so if I show you the one that Tina's done. So Tina, even though it looks probably a bit like a diagonal grid, shall I go on number 3?
That is number 3.
Oh, is it?
Do you want to come in a little bit closer?
Yeah.
Okay, should we try holding it up to that camera over there? So there we go.
There we go. So.
That's it.
There we go. So it's actually, I turn it around that way. As you can see, it's a straight grid.
Oh, yes.
But Tina's just used the straight grid diagonally. So it looks like a diagonal grid, but it's not.
Linda Williams has a trick of doing this as well. She takes a straight grid and puts it at an angle to give the illusion of a diagonal, but it is actually a straight.
It looks really lovely. Okay, so if I just show you the grids now. So Tina actually, to create this piece of art, she's actually used a fine grid in the middle.
Right.
So if I show you, maybe show the plates.
Yeah.
So
these are the little mini grids that we zoom back out now. Oh. Excuse me. So you've got the straight and the diagonal. So these are what we call our bold piercing grids. So you can pierce with them and emboss with them as well. And then have you got your one that's open, the fine one?
Got this one.
Yeah.
This is the fine. So if I show, that's the bold one.
Yeah.
And that's the fine grid.
Okay. And I mean, to the viewer at home, it just looks like a series of 1,000 perforations.
It doesn't even help going up.
We can come in. No, if I zoom in a little bit closer there, and that should just focus. Just bear with it. Might be just need to put your hand just for it to give something, because it's so fine. No, it doesn't like it. Will zoom out a little bit there.
Let me show you on the, I just did this just before Groovi Tuesday started. So let me show you this way actually. So if I come in closer.
Yeah.
So this was just a quick one. So this is the bold.
Okay.
And this is the fine. So you can see the difference between both of them. It's very, very small dots and they're closer together. But if I show you on a grid, so this is the grid that Tina has used in the middle.
So this is the pattern Tina created.
Yes. So this is the bold.
Yeah.
And this is the fine.
Okay.
So you can see quite a big difference in between. So you can see there's 6 here, but there's only 5 here. So you can see there's a big difference in how many dots you can get into one space.
It really is, isn't it? So the fine is a lot closer together. So
a lot closer together. The dots are smaller, so everything's evenly spaced. But you can just see that what the difference is.
Yeah.
There. So
it's quite magical, really, isn't it? Because as you say, you followed that same pattern. The square is exactly the same size, but you get, as you say, 6 openings.
Yes.
In this one.
And only 5.
And only 5
there
within that one.
Nice thing is, looking at the grid here, it looks a bit like flowers, doesn't it? So you've got little flowers. So I can show you how to create that pattern.
Okay. So this is the pattern that goes in the center of that piece of artwork that Tina's created.
Let me just show you side to side. Let me show you the fine. You can't really see.
Okay, it's raised up slightly so we can sort of...
Oh yeah. So the thing is, because it's cutting out as well, it will be harder to see. So Tina's done 4 dots across and then a perforating hole, then 4 dots. So you just kind of just follow the pattern as it is.
Right. Okay.
So I can show everybody that maybe with the bold grid, because it'll be easier for people to see.
I think that would be easier, and I think many of our friends at home are more likely to have the bold grid.
Yeah.
So while Louise is just getting those bits together, we have the bold grids, we have the fine grids. Now the fine grids are only available in A4. Because we pay per hole, it wasn't cost effective at that time when we was doing the fine grids to do them in smaller. So we've got the, let me just have a look here. This is the, they're available individually. So you can see here, they're sort of substantial plates. If you're interested in the straight and the diagonal in the fine, the item number is 40628. If you just want the straight one, which is item number 40626, or if you just want the diagonal, then it's 40627. But Louise is going to be using the bold version, and those little mini plates, grids, will be perfect for the space. And they fit perfectly within the plate mate for the starter kit with your little adapter plate.
It does, yes.
Okay. Now, if you like what Louise is doing and you're thinking, I'm never going to remember how to complete this pattern, lovely Linda Williams has written a book.
There are some lovely grid patterns in there as well.
Yeah, and this is just like the tip of the iceberg. So we launched this, I think it was about, October, November of last year.
Yeah.
So it's a guide to grid work, and it covers both the straight and the diagonal grids. And it shows how you can do just embossing, you could do a little perforating, you can incorporate some grid pico cutting in there as well. And so we've got that on the website, which is item number 31723. Now, if you want the book with the 2 little baby plates, it's 21224. And Louise, you mentioned earlier, I mean, you've got a lovely top on today, very Japanese.
It is. Yes, I thought seeing a Groovi Tuesday, and Barbara was talking in the shack yesterday about the artwork of Japan and everything. So I thought I'd get my Japanese arty shirt out.
Perfect. So we're currently running. Barb and Dave wanted to go to Japan this year.
I don't blame them. I'd like to go too.
It's on the bucket list. So, but Dave's recovering from his knee surgery. So obviously travels probably won't happen maybe this year, maybe later next year. So we decided to bring Japan to Barbara and Dave, to Clarity, and all our friends at home. So what we've done is we've created a discount code called Japan 10. So maybe you're looking at some stuff here and you're thinking, oh, I like this, I like that, I haven't got that. I'll pop it in my basket. What it will do, it takes your club discount off first. So if you're a club member, you get your 10, 12.5 or 15% discount. And then there's a little box that says discount code box. Put Japan 10 in there and it will take another 10% off.
Oh, brilliant. As well as the club.
As well as the club.
Wow.
Yeah, so you get your club discount, then you get an additional 10%. And that offer runs up until the end of the 31st of March, or end of March.
Whole month. That's really good.
Yes, really good. So now just had a question. The lovely Lorraine in Spain. Lorraine, if you drop me an email or I've got your email, I'll reach out to you about signing up for the 123 online courses, because yes, Lorraine is in Spain. And she wants to know whether we were able to email the booklet, but we'll sort something out for you, Lorraine. So you either email me this morning or I'll email you if you haven't already spoken to Sue on the phone. All right, so there we go.
Lovely. So I thought I would try and show you this grid pattern. I'm going to kind of make it into a sequence.
Yeah.
There we go. Let me get that there. Make it into a sequence so it's easier for everybody to understand how Tina's done it. So it's all about counting dots, really.
Right. And so you need to do this in a quiet room.
Quiet room, yes. But so let me just. So Tina, on this pattern, I can see she started with 4 dots and then 1 perforating hole, then 4 dots. So that's how I would start, by doing the top layer. So I miss a dot there, and I will do 4 dots, miss a dot, 4 dots, miss a dot, 4 dots, miss a dot, 4 dots.
And this is on the back of the parchment?
Yes, this is on the back of the parchment. All embossing on grid work is on the back, and then you will turn it over, and when it's time to perforate on the front.
Okay.
So now I've done the 4 dots, I'm going to bring it down into like a U shape.
Right. I'm going to see if I can come in a little bit. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this manually, so I'll try and do it. Hopefully. Try one more.
Ooh.
Might be a little. There we go.
Perfect. So then we're going down 1 and making a U shape. So all along.
And which tool are you using for this, Lou?
I'm using the normal Groovi tool, the 1.2. If I was using a fine grid, I would use the 1mm Pergamano tool.
Okay, so this is a Groovi number 2 tool.
This is Groovi number 2 tool, yes. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it down, this dot in the middle here.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring it down 4. and then I'm going to make it into a capital I.
Right, okay.
So you can see the I here. So I would do that on all of the sections, making a little I.
This is so clever. All of a sudden I can see arches now because we're in so close.
Yeah. And you can see the grid pattern starts coming in now.
Can you see it looks like an arch?
Yeah. So the good thing about grid work is that even though when it looks complicated, you can really, as soon as you start counting the dots, you'll find a sequence. So this is how I did it, it's kind of, I saw the capital I.
Yeah.
And then it will come down into a box, like so.
Yeah.
And you would do that on all of the grids. There we go.
This is so cleverly explained.
Oh, good. There we go. So we've got the little boxes now.
Yeah.
So now the middle dot on these boxes, you would just bring it across. So now you can see you've got your little center.
Your little opening.
So you would do that middle dot again in your box and go across. And all you're doing is just embossing 2 dots there. There we go.
Okay.
So now we've got that. So again, you're going to create your capital I. You're going to go down 4, and there's your capital I.
Yeah.
Doop, doop, doop. So I would do that to all of them. Like so. And then when you have a look at it like this, a grid pattern that looks really complicated suddenly doesn't. It doesn't look as complicated as what you think it is.
No, and as you say, it is a series of counting, isn't it?
It is.
But I think the way that you've broken this down really does make it very achievable, because I noticed that when you started in the top row, as you did.
Yes.
And then you always go to the middle of middle-ish part of the design and come down, and then you work out either side.
Yeah, so I always try and find the easiest way to do something.
Yeah, don't we all?
Because when you're counting dots, it's easier to make a mistake if you don't create a sequence, I find.
Yes. So, yeah, I totally understand that.
So again, we're creating our little bridges.
Yeah.
There we go. So now we've got 2 sections.
Wow. Okay. So then how do we put this into practice into the centerpiece of our artwork? Would you recommend that our friends at home did this first to practice, just draw a little square out and practice?
I would, because the more you do a sequence, the more you'll remember it. So if you're creating that sequence, it's easier to do it on a bit of artwork first to practice on, and then you've always got that little bit of artwork, and then all you have to do really is just turn the artwork diagonally.
Yeah.
And it's the same pattern. I mean, Tina's is on the fine grid.
Yeah.
But there's nothing stopping you once you've done it on a bold, then do it on the fine. And so you have both patterns there to have a look at. And then all you have to do is then just turn
the plate at an angle.
Yeah. So I always find it's easier to do it straight first. So you've got the sequence, and then all you have to do is just turn the artwork diagonally and just do the straight
and
grid
you get
again.
a completely different look.
You do, yes.
As opposed to, so I mean, if we look on the overhead again, so you can see Louise is doing straight exactly as it comes.
Yeah.
But then when you turn it to that angle, all of a sudden it gives it that different look.
It does. It looks totally different, doesn't it? You can see it looks more like flowers when you look at it like that as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, so it just gives things different looks, and I think that's probably why Linda and Tina and a lot of the design team create this beautiful grid work, and to make it look so complicated. But in fact, if you look at it as a sequence of dots, it can become a lot less complicated.
Yeah, and I think you've really sort of shown that on that little piece of artwork there. And as I say, we've got that book that Linda has written, and there's, so when Linda wrote this, Barb said, "Oh, that's brilliant, it's really good." She said, "I didn't realise you could do so much." And Linda went, "I haven't even scraped the tip of the iceberg yet." She said, "This is just very sort of..."
It's using a sequence of, a lot of it is 4 dots, isn't it?
Yes.
And that is just 4 dots, but there's so many more sequences of
yeah. I
dots
mean,
you can
maybe we
create.
can have a look on the overhead at some of the patterns in here. So this is using the straight grid.
I like that
so
one.
yeah, so you can see here, so Linda guides you through what the different colors mean, what the green is, whether it's embossing, whether you've got the perforating. I think this is a lovely one to maybe get started on as an introduction, that 4-in-4 that you were talking about.
Yeah, this is a great introduction for anybody that just wants to scrape the surface with grid work, because it is literally, it's just a 4 dots miss, 4 dots miss from this top one here.
From the perforating.
And you can create all of these, and it is literally just the 4 dots and 4 dots, but it's just the way that you create, where you cut and where you create the embossing dots. So again, that is the same, looks completely different. You think, oh, how did that? But Linda's cut on the outside of the 4 dots, so the center.
So yeah, so exactly as you say. So this one pattern here of the 4 dot perforation, you can do that, you can do that, you can do that, you can do that, that and that.
Yeah.
Plus so much more, just with a series of 4 perforations.
Yeah.
See, I like the embossing effect.
It does look very
So
beautiful.
rather than perforate, what Linda's done on this one is that she's embossed the 4, miss 4, then she's introduced a line to join them up, joining them up in a different way, doing it. See, that I wouldn't have said that was 4-in-4.
No, you wouldn't think so, would you?
No.
And then you go along onto these, and even like if you look at this like that way, it creates something completely different. And that's the idea of, you know, Linda and Tina, they do that diagonal but it's straight, but looking at it from that way diagonally looks completely different. Yeah,
it's madness, isn't it, really, when you think about it. So that's a guide to grid work by Linda Williams. So the book 31723, maybe you're looking and you want to have a go at some of this type of artwork. I mean, as you say, it's the counter. I saw Glynis said that Pete knows exactly when to ask a question when she's counting. So would you believe that hour has absolutely flown by? So have we got any homework for our friends at home this week?
Yes, I would say continue with the white work.
Yeah.
And maybe look back on the video and see if you can try, and if you have a grid at home, then see if you can try and do that grid pattern on a practice piece, and then maybe next week we can put it onto the actual piece of artwork.
I think it's nice to have just using the nested squares to create those little squares and just practice rather than taking a whole piece of A5 parchment and think, where do I start? Just create that little frame. I think that was the 3rd or the 4th square from the center, wasn't it?
Yes.
On that one. Go smaller if you want to, but I think you'd really see the effect by using that size. And you know what? If it goes wrong, you'll know it's gone wrong, and then you'll remember, think, right, that's where I went wrong. So then draw another square and have a play that way.
The good thing about it going wrong is that once you've turned it over and put your perforating dots in, sometimes where your dot is, it's a perforating hole, and then it will hide it.
That's right. So that's a good point, isn't it? So with an embossed, if you've embossed a dot in the wrong place, so if it should have been a perforation instead of an embossed dot, you can perforate the embossed dot and it disappears.
No one will ever know.
No one, but what you can't do is emboss a perforated dot. So for me personally, I'm sure you're the same, Louise, you would do your embossed dots first.
I would, yes.
And then if you go wrong, you can then perforate.
Perforate it, yeah.
So thank you again for your company.
Thank you.
Thank you to Thank you to the lovely Jane for her help. I saw there was loads of links going up and all our friends there chatting away. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I'm really looking forward to next week again now, to see how Louise is going to take that and put it into that design. So wow, yeah. My head's buzzing now with, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. So thank you as always. So where are we at this week? So Tuesday, so finish today at Groovi Tuesday. Then on Friday, Barb will be on Clarity Social TV with the launch of a brand new stamp collection, and some other new goodies as well. That's all I'm going to say. And whilst Barb's on air doing Clarity Social TV, I shall be heading up to Hobbymaker in Redditch, and I will be on Hobbymaker at 2 o'clock and 6 o'clock with some of Tina Cox's parching plates as well.
Oh yes.
Because we have some new friends at Hobbymaker that would not have seen Tina's beautiful designs.
They are lovely, the parchets, which is perfect for those small makes again, isn't it?
Absolutely. So don't forget, Friday, 10 a.m, Clarity Social TV on YouTube and on Facebook, and then 2 o'clock and 6 o'clock on Hobbymaker. So enjoy the rest of your week, and look forward to seeing you very, very soon.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Louise. Take care now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.